Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 58 of the Yellow Card Podcast, presented to you by Couch Guy Sports and sponsored by the fellas over at Shocked Energy. If this week you felt completely out of focus, out of energy, and just completely low on everything, I recommend heading over to shockedenergy.com. Use the code CGSN for 10% off if you order today. Let us help you gain your energy and focus back while saving you some money. And don't worry, they do ship worldwide, so we will always make sure to get to you one way or another. 180 milligrams of caffeine, can't go wrong. No jitters, no crash, nothing afterwards. Just a healthy manner to get your energy back while enjoying some delicious flavors in green apple and watermelon flavor. Get yourself again going to shockedenergy.com. Use CGSN as a promo code. Get 10% off if you order today and gain your focus and energy back all together. Episode 58 starting off right now. Chris Jones, Diego Galvis here for this episode. No Andrew Fasciano this week. We'll miss him. We'll miss him dearly. But we got a lot to be talking about this week because some serious action happening all throughout soccer. We got obviously the whole situation happening with Manchester United and their coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And on top of that, we also got Ronald Koeman, who why don't we get started with those breaking news? Ronald Koeman out of Barcelona as a coach. If you are Andrew Fasciano or the Fasciano family altogether, you are extremely happy about hearing the fact that Koeman is out of a job at this point. But why don't we get started there? Ronald Koeman out of Barcelona after falling to Rayo Vallecano 1-0 in the league, and gotta be honest, that happened a lot faster than any of us imagined because there was no rumors of who could potentially be the person to fulfill that role. But it seems like Laporta had some plans in mind, as he was also just not happy with how Ronald Koeman was doing. He was backing him for a while, but just not happy at all. Not happy at all with the performance. So, Jones, let me hear from you, your thoughts as to the situation, and then we'll get going after on who's replacing him because it's a club legend as well. So, let's hear from you, sir.
We knew it wasn't going to work out, honestly, and we saw it firsthand. The second that they hired Ronald Koeman, it was probably one of the worst managerial signings that we've seen for a big club in time now. So I just think that we knew what we were signing up for. We knew what we were getting with Ronald Koeman, whether it's his struggles at Everton, whether it's his struggles anywhere else that he's been as a manager. You knew it wasn't going to be anything good. And with Barcelona struggling, they desperately needed a step in the right direction. And I think they're really taking it here with Ronald Koeman on the outs as we speak.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think right from the get-go, Ronald Koeman was just not the right fit for Barcelona. He was a club legend. He scored the goal that took them to their first European trip, basically, out of La Liga and all that stuff. So I get his legend status as a player of the club. However, as a manager, the mentality was just not there. First and foremost, throughout the season last year, blaming Lionel Messi as a factor for his downfalls, just probably not the smartest thing that you could possibly do, especially when you have a player of that caliber around the center piece of everything that happens with Barcelona. Secondary to that, blaming everybody but yourself, not taking any accountability at all in regards of the aspects of why you fell down as a manager. And third to that, I mean, I get it, financial problems ahead for Barcelona and all that stuff, a lot of financial things to work through. However, you as a manager should know where you need to be sourcing your talent from. At this point, I just feel like the signings were a bit rushed. Not much train of thought behind it. It's good that you got somebody like Pedri extended for a good while with Barcelona, that you have somebody like Memphis Depay in there, and it's good that you got Ansu Fati as well standing through. However, while those are good building blocks for the foundation that you need to create for Barcelona, what is your future really lying ahead? You kind of need somebody that is already a promising factor for your club to be part of this strategy immediately, rather than just signing pieces to potentially have a building put all together. So I think that's where Ronald Koeman went out. But as a matter of fact, another club legend replacing him, a great mind, in my opinion, that is Xavi, coming in as a immediate replacement for Ronald Koeman. He will not be available for the Dynamo Kiev match because obviously the transitional aspects of things. But what are you most looking forward to Xavi's coaching career here at Barcelona?
Just to see what he does with their key pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, we have guys that have been taking significant pay cuts to stay with this team because of the financial issues that they've faced. But right now, I mean, if you look at where they are in the La Liga standings as well, they got some work they need to do.
Yeah.
You know, they're currently sitting outside the top 5, which is not usual for Barcelona. They're actually currently, where are they? They're actually ninth right now. Currently. Yeah. They're ninth at 4-3-3, which is not Barcelona like at all.
No.
You got other teams ahead of them like Real Sociedad, Real Vallecano. You got Athletic Club right behind them. Right ahead of them, you got Valencia, Villarreal, also right on their heels as well. So they're on the path to fall heavily into the middle of the table in La Liga, and for them in the Champions League too, they need to start pulling some weight because you're still on the same side as Bayern, and you're playing in Benfica as well again. So after Dynamo Kiev, you still have to play Bayern and Benfica again, who you've already lost to and lost handedly, both sides. So for me, they got a lot of work to do. I like Xavi. I like what he's about with his coaching style as well. I think it'll fit this team, but they need to figure out what is best going forward for them and what's the best formation. They got rid of Antoine Griezmann because he hasn't worked out because they use him the wrong way. They need to get the guys like Ansu Fati going. They need to get Frankie de Jong going. They need to get that entire team going sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Xavi Hernandez coaching style, and although he's been a manager for Qatar side Al Sadd since 2019, his coaching style is very, very different from what we've seen of Ronald Koeman. This is a guy who genuinely, as a player, was a creative force in the offensive attack for Barcelona. He was the creative piece to put together attacks whenever you had Andres Iniesta and Messi in the same lineup. He was incredibly dependable when it came to having a side that had Ronaldinho as well as a creative force in the midfield. And this is a guy that truly just absolutely speaks what Barcelona is about. He has the mentality. He understands the culture. He can engrave the culture back into this team and can actually just get it going. As a matter of fact, I mean, I think his formation, the formation that he prefers, which is a 4-2-3-1 formation, is really, 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 really good. On top of that, I mean, he's just incredible. And when you need to get the offensive going for Barcelona, this is the type of person you desperately need. Somebody that understands how to create offensive opportunities for Barcelona to get that machine finally going. After this season, though, I do think that there are some potential signings that we could see Xavi going after, and that is somebody like Serge Gnabry from Bayern Munich, potentially Jadon Sancho on a long deal for Manchester United, because Jadon Sancho is just not being used correctly at United. Outside of those two, I do see the potential of having a striker come in for Barcelona because they desperately need one as well. Somebody the likes of Lautaro Martinez from Milan could be a very good fit for Barcelona.
I can agree with you there.
But at this point, it's just more of organizing this team with a strategy ahead, which is something that Ronald Koeman just seemed to lack.
I think one thing that I kind of would like to see maybe is them rocking like what he has at Al Sadd right now is that 3-5-2. If you think about it, you get PK, you get Linglet, and you get maybe you finally put Titty back in the lineup. Maybe Sergio Roberto. You got plenty of options back there that you could do, and then you have your 5 midfield, which you settle around having Busquets as your big center defensive mid, and then out wide you can go Dest, you can go Alba on the other side. You can have Felipe Coutinho play your cam, or like play one of those attacking midfielders in the middle, and then up front you could rock Aguero and Memphis Depay, which would be a solid little transition for them as well. Maybe even get so you go Dest, then you can go like Dest, Coutinho, Busquets, and then have Frankie de Jong and Jordi Alba, and with up top of Aguero and Memphis Depay, which wouldn't be a bad little thing. You have Ansu Fati you can bring off the bench. You have Nico Gonzalez you can bring off the bench. You have Luke de Jong you can bring off the bench. You got Gavi you can bring off the bench. They got some names there that have some potential, but they need to be able to mesh in this formation. I think the 3-5-2 would be an interesting one for Barcelona. I'd be curious to see how they play about it.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you look back at the lineup that Koeman unleashed against Real Madrid at El Clasico, this is just a piss poor lineup altogether. Because you got somebody as good as a right winger in Sergiño Dest and using him up front. That's just bad utility of a player like that. You bring him back to where Mingueza was started, and you have a back four of Mingueza, Garcia, Piqué, and Jordi Alba in the back four. And the front three after that, if you were to have started Sergio Busquets, Frankie de Jong, and potentially somebody like Philippe Coutinho, that's a strong 3 in your midfield. Then you have Ansu Fati on the wing, Memphis Depay on the other wing, and Sergio Aguero in the front. You could have had a complete different ball game in that Clasico than what you had, and where basically you were fighting for possession of the ball majority of the time. You had 52% of the possession, but you had nothing to do when it came to opportunities. Nothing. Until Sergio Aguero came in at the very last minute and was able to get that goal going for you for a 2-1. That's just bad. That's just bad coaching altogether. That's just not understanding what your team really has available to its utility. And that's just undermining player performances at their key roles. This is why somebody like Benzema took advantage of that. This is why somebody like David Alaba was able to score right off the bat in the 32nd minute. This is why Vinicius Jr. was just taking a walk in the park all across your defense like nothing ever happened. It's just really, really, really bad coaching for Ronald Koeman altogether, especially going against somebody as brilliant of a mind as Carlo Ancelotti in the game. That's just not knowing your place at all. But with that said, Barcelona faces Alaves today. The start of something new for them in this La Liga. Hopefully they're able to turn it around. But with that said, let's turn the leaf over now and let's head over to Champions League action, because we got some Champions League action returning here again on Tuesday, November 2nd, with some key matchups happening. So as tradition has it here at the Yellow Card Podcast, now getting into some predictions here, just Jones and I in this one. So Jones, why don't we start talking about the slate that we have on Tuesday, and let's get predictions going real quick here.
Yeah, let's do it. So the record stands. Andrew's in first place for right now. We'll keep him in first place because it's not fair to him with him missing this week. So right now we'll do between Diego and I. So first matchup, Malmo hosting Chelsea. Last time these two teams played, Malmo played Chelsea very close up until nope, I'm thinking of someone completely different. Chelsea waxed Malmo 4-0. So Diego, I'll start with you. What is your prediction in this game?
I think Malmo makes some adjustments, but I don't think that they'll be able to control Chelsea. The only thing different for Chelsea in this go around is that they don't count with somebody like Timo Werner, Pulisic, or Lukaku due to injury. So I'm gonna go in a slightly different manner here. I'm gonna go in a 2-1 scoreline here for Chelsea versus Malmo.
I mean, I think if Reece James just keeps his hot streak going, he can easily win this game for Chelsea as well. I think Chelsea wins this one, but I think it's a score of 2-0. I think Chelsea takes the top and slowly is solidifying themselves as the number 2 in their group.
All right.
Okay. Next one we got Wolfsburg and Salzburg.
Mm-hmm.
Salzburg beat Wolfsburg 3-1 at home. Now they go to Wolfsburg. What are you thinking in this matchup?
I think this ends in a tie, actually. Playing in Wolfsburg is extremely tough, especially the Volkswagen Arena. It can get very loud, especially when they're behind their team. I'm going to go with a 1-1 tie, but I would not be surprised if Salzburg pulls the upset here and goes 2-1. But for now, I'm just going to go 1-1.
1-1 draw?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Wolfsburg's going to play them a little bit tougher this time, and being at home, I think it's going to struggle for Salzburg a little bit, because if I remember correctly, looking at Salzburg in the Champions League so far, let's see. In the Champions League, on the road, they've played one road game, and they drew to Sevilla 1-1. So I think we're going to get a little bit more of the same there. And I'll say a 1-1 draw in that one as well. All right, so next matchup, we have Villarreal and Young Boys. Villarreal handed Young Boys on the road last time 4-1. What do we think for this time for Villarreal hosting Young Boys?
I mean, they're at home, and they were able to be very productive away. Would not be surprised if they don't let off the gas. So I'm going with a 3-0 win for Villarreal.
I'm going 2-1. I think Young Boys will fix a couple things, and I think that they keep it close enough, but Villarreal gets it done at home. I'll say Villarreal 2-1.
Okay.
Next one, we got Juventus and Zenit. This is the game I was thinking of originally. Zenit played them very tough at home. They lost 1-0 to them. Now Juventus is at home against this team. What do we think for this one?
I think with Juventus being at home at Juventus Stadium, gives them an extra leg up on Zenit. So I'm going to go 2-0 here, but I would not be surprised if it's as close again as it was previously.
I agree, but I'm going to go a little balls to the wall here. I think Juventus is going to win 3-0 in this one. I think they're finally going to get some help from Paulo Dybala up front. I think this team is poised for a nice little setup here. So give me Juventus 3-0. Next one, Bayern and Benfica. Bayern, in their last match against Benfica,
they won 4-0.
And it was at Benfica. This time they're at Bayern. What do we think?
I'll let you get started because I still got to think a little bit here for Benfica.
I think Benfica's going to play them a little bit tougher. I do think Bayern wins, but I think they win 2-0 this time instead of 4. Okay.
I mean, the last couple of times that Benfica has been visiting, it's been a little inconsistent for them, but it's also been a good matchup for them. Example of Dynamo, they were able to tie 0-0 against a very, very strong rushing very strong Russian side. Sorry, guys. At this moment, as we're recording, we're also monitoring the situation between Tottenham and Manchester United, and Manchester United are down 1-0 at this time in the 27th minute, but it seems to be offside. So just not a good strong side at all from Manchester United at this point. Nothing promising at all.
It's offside, so it doesn't count.
Yeah. So going back into Benfica, they got their butts handed to it at home, but when they are away, it seems like they're a complete different team. I'm gonna go with a 3-1 score here for Bayern Munich. But again, Benfica was the same exact side that was able to pull an upset against Barcelona, actually, when they won 3-0. So I'm going 3-1 Bayern Munich here, but again, wouldn't be surprised if it's a lot of a closer game than that.
Yeah. All right. Next one, we got Sevilla at home against Lille. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. For me, this is easy. Sevilla has not lost to a French side in the Champions League. They're 3-2-0 in those 5 games. Lille has only won 2 of their 14 games against Spanish opponents in all European competition. So with that being said, I'm going to ride Sevilla. Close one, but I think Sevilla wins 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, the last time these two met up was in 2006, where
besides October 20th, of course.
Yeah, when Lyle pulled on an upset. However, this is a complete different Sevilla team this year. I'm going with a 2-0 win for Sevilla.
All right. Next one, we have Dynamo Kiev hosting Barcelona.
This is simple for me. Barcelona has a new vision in place, new hopes. So I think they do come in re-energized, and I think they win 3-0 to Dynamo.
I think more of the same. I like them 3-0 there. Barcelona has won each of their last 5 against Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League between the years 2009 and 2021. Barcelona's kept a clean sheet in each of the last 2 meetings against them, and they already beat them 1-0 earlier in the year. So we'll take that. All right, next one, we have Manchester United and Atalanta. So at Atalanta this time, United pulled out a 3-2 win late in that one. What do we? I'll start here. I just think United just matches up well against Italian opponents in the Champions League. I think they're 8-2-1 in their last 11 against Italian opponents. So they've had some success against them as of late. And Atalanta struggles as they've only won 1 out of their last 5 against English teams in the Champions League as well. So I'm taking United 2-1 on another close
one. I'm actually taking this a tied Atalanta at home. They've been a complete different side again this year. Manchester United just not clicking in all cylinders. So I'm going with a 2-2 tied.
Okay. Next one, Real Madrid and Shakhtar Donetsk. What you got?
Boy, I mean, Real Madrid has been difficult to predict all year long. Ancelotti's side, just 1 week are a complete different story. The week after that, they're like, what the hell happened? However, in their last meetup, Madrid just demolished Shakhtar 5-0. With it being at home, I do think Shakhtar will come out a little bit more defensively and therefore producing a bigger challenge. But I do foresee Real Madrid pulling away with a win. I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory for Real Madrid here.
I think they win as well. I like 2-0 in this one. Okay. I think Shakhtar has been struggling as of late, and this isn't the same Shakhtar team that we were accustomed to seeing last year in the Champions League. All right, next one we have is AC Milan and Porto.
Yeah, Porto pull on the upset against AC Milan. I thought for sure AC Milan was going to dominate them, but complete different story. Seeing how close of a game that was and the tactics behind that game, I feel like this is more of a tied game. This is going to be probably a boring one and probably 1-1, to be honest with you.
Say 1-1. I think 0-0. I don't even think we get a goal in this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was extremely close in the last matchup too. So,
all right, next one. Sporting Besiktas. We keep this short and sweet. Sporting killed him last time. They're going to do it again. 3-1. Sporting.
yeah, I agree with that. I'd even go with Sporting winning 4-0.
Okay. Next one. Dortmund and Ajax. Ajax
Oof.
absolutely blew the doors off of Dortmund at Ajax. This time is at Dortmund. What do you think, Diego?
I think we see a complete different Dortmund side than what we saw against Ajax. I still think Ajax is going to be a battle. So I foresee this one being very similar to that of Atalanta versus United. So I'm going to go with Ajax 3-2.
Ooh. I'm taking a 1-1 draw here. I think Dortmund is going to figure out a way to contain them. And with Ajax not being at home, I think they struggle a little bit, not a lot, but I think they aren't very goal heavy in this one. So I'll take Dortmund and Ajax in a draw. And also, I don't think Ajax is going to score an own. Dortmund's going to score an own goal 11 minutes into the game as well.
Okay.
Next one, we got Sheriff and Inter Milan at Sheriff.
Yeah, so Sheriff fell for the first time in Champions League against an Inter Milan side that kind of surprised them, and beat them 3-1. I do think that they readjust and can get things done. So I foresee this game actually being closer than 3-1. I think Sheriff pull off the upset 2-1.
Oh, I'm going a little bit safer here. I'm going to go 1-1 draw again. I think Sheriff at home is a different animal. Inter on the road in the Champions League also isn't really anything too special. So I'll say that Sheriff steer away into a draw there. Next one, we got Liverpool and Atletico Madrid. Atletico, don't forget, will be without Antoine Griezmann as he got a red card in the past matchup.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I think this is a difficult matchup for Atletico. Not having their key forward as an option is really just a bad strategy altogether. Being away at Anfield as well, that's just bad altogether. I see Liverpool pulling off the win here 2-0.
I think Liverpool wins 2-1. Especially after the performance today, they're gonna come ready to play against Atletico Madrid, I think, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what Jurgen has in store for them. So I think Liverpool 2-1. All right, City and Club Brugge. City hammered Club Brugge. I think it's a little bit more of the same this time, especially after their loss today. They're going to be in full attack mode. Give me City 4-0.
I don't know if I fully agree with that. From what I saw from Manchester City today was a team that's just not there fully. They seem to be a little overutilized and tired. Seeing that it's at home and seeing how they struggle against a Crystal Palace side that just kept them on their toes, I think Club Brugge here has an opportunity to produce an upset, but not a full upset. So I actually think this is a tied game. I think more of a 1-1 draw.
All right. And the last one on the slate, Leipzig and PSG. Last time the two teams played, 3-2 PSG with Messi scoring game winner. I think we get a little bit more of the same this time. Give me Mbappe to score the game winner. Give me PSG 2-1 on the road.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm thinking much of the same. I'm actually thinking PSG 3-1 on the road with Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi all scoring.
All right. That'll do it for the Champions League picks for this week.
All right. So last but not least, as we mentioned, we're monitoring the situation happening with Manchester United in this key matchup for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's career against Tottenham. This is a very important matchup for many, many, many reasons. Earlier in the week, we all thought that come Monday, we would hear the news that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to be sacked. However, that was not the case. And from a United standpoint, as a fan, I really think that this is the best way to address it. As an owner of the team and as a fan of the team, there are a few options on the table currently for United. Free agent Antonio Conte could immediately become the next coach of Manchester United. And while he's been a trophy-winning career manager, there's a huge problem when it comes to his personality, though. And that is his temper and his attitude, which translate to very similar issues that we had with Jose Mourinho when he left Manchester United and the chaos that he left behind. Having to bring in somebody like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a caretaker, who then became a manager. I think that if Ole was to leave immediately this week, honestly, Ole has done the job. He's done what he was brought in to do, which was change the culture and revive the energy for Manchester United. I think he did just that. And I think he did it well. I think he revived his team and gave them an opportunity to be themselves again. Rebuilding this brand. And oh my God, I'm containing my excitement right now. As we record, we have an update right now as Manchester United are up 1-0 with a beauty of a goal from Cristiano Ronaldo. However, back to my point, I think Solskjaer has done the job to revive this team and give them new energy, bringing in people like Wan-Bissaka, bringing in like Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane, Cristiano Ronaldo, Edison Cavani, just a few names to bring up. However, we all know that he has struggled at closing the deal, at getting trophies done, getting trophies in here, getting us to participate in more European action and whatnot. I mean, as it is for this season, we're already out of the Carabao Cup, which is probably like the silliest thing to be out of at this point if you're Manchester United. However, I think the Glazers, again, are doing something that is quite surprising from them, which is actually taking care of the club. Setting forward an image of what they really need to do here, and thinking long-term, because for a long time for Manchester United, it's always been short-term ideas. It's always been short-term solutions and just a band-aid to things that have needed surgery for a long, long time now. I think they're doing it correctly. And I think that with the international break as well in the foreseeable future coming up, they have plenty of time to think this through. So I think that if Ole can win here against Tottenham, if he loses against Atalanta, like it is what it is at this point, you know that you need to find a new manager anyways. So it gives them more time to think it through. However, I just don't know who the manager should be. I love the idea of bringing in somebody like Brendan Rodgers, somebody who's already been in Premier League action, who's bred into that action as well, who knows what to do. Very good coach for Liverpool back in his days. Very good coach for Leicester City. So he knows what to do. Problem with him is closing the season, which is something that we've seen with Leicester City happen for the past 3 seasons at the very least, which is they always fall out of the top 5. When they need to close things up, they just can't seem to close it. Another problem is that I foresee is Brendan Rodgers has never had to coach a high talent like Cristiano Ronaldo. And that's another problem that I have. So with that said, I like the idea of Brendan Rodgers. I'm just not fully sold on it yet. I think Antonio Conte would be a great fit. However, Conte and Paul Pogba have a bad history together, real bad history together. That is not what you want to bring in, especially if you're thinking of having Paul Pogba stay for a potential future rebuild again of Manchester United, as we're not even done to finish and rebuilding this team. There have been sounds coming up of Gareth Southgate and Erik ten Hag. I like the idea of Southgate because he knows the English Premier League very well, has done a good job at coaching the English team, and has managed big personalities. I just don't know if he's made for club coaching, and that's a problem altogether. Um, and Erik ten Hag, while a phenomenal coach, again, it's just having to coach somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo returning to United was a curse and a blessing at the same time, because it's just it prevents from having coaches with a potential future vision for this club to come in and be able to do that because of his personality. So, from an outsider standpoint, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say, because from an insider standpoint right now, we're caught between two walls, man, and there's just no way out. There's no way out at this point. It's just a bad situation altogether that nobody was expecting. Let's just put that into perspective. Everybody saw a good start to United season and was like, all right, let's get things going. Nobody saw this fall down happening at all.
So I think the Ronaldo signing kind of foiled Ole's plans a little bit, because I don't think Ole was all in on getting Ronaldo. I think he got his guys in Sancho and Varane and everybody else that he got, and I think that he was good and he was set for it. Now, on top of it, I think it's already making his job hard enough trying to get pieces like Rashford and Cavani and everybody else to play consistently. But now adding Ronaldo to the mix, I think automatically makes his job even harder, which is another thing that we had to take into consideration on why he's still currently with the team. So for me, I think now more and more as we look at it and look and dive into the situation that Manchester United has, it's one of two ways that this can go. It's either Ole out and they find someone who can manage Ronaldo's personality and get him and this team to where they need to be, or you keep Ole in, and basically what happens is Ole runs with the crew that he likes and the crew that he, this it's his crew. This is who he brought to play for Manchester United. So there's a couple factors here and there, but with the formation today, it's shown today that he's not backing down. He's got a little bit of change in him, and I'm just curious to see how the rest of this plays out, honestly, because I still think United wins the Champions League, but they need to figure out a couple things in house before I can really put my my stamp of approval on it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm gonna throw a scenario out there. So there was rumors of Harry Kane potentially coming to Manchester United as well earlier at the beginning of the season. What if it wasn't Ronaldo that was here? What if it was Harry Kane? You still just don't know what to do with Rashford and Jadon Sancho altogether.
I agree.
Mason Greenwood.
No, I agree 100%. But to go off topic, in Tottenham's success, I think Heung-min Son is more important to that team than Harry Kane is, in all honesty. Yeah. I think, we can sit here and go back and forth, whatever, but if you look at it and you look at what this team needs, realistically, is they need consistency. And in order to get consistency and in order to get these formations to work, they need to get guys to play together. And with Ronaldo on the pitch, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ronaldo's an impact player. He scored today for them. And I think now he's got 4 goals in the Premier League and he's got a couple in the Champions League for them as well. So he's showed up in the big moments when they needed him to. But at the same time, what is he doing to the chemistry of this team as a whole? You know what I mean? We had the situation where Bruno Fernandes missed a penalty. Was it against Leicester? So that's another thing. Ronaldo's so used to taking it. That's another thing that goes into with Ole. Bruno is Ole's guy. Bruno is Ole's saving grace with this team. It's the fact that he's here because Ole brought him here. That is Bruno Fernandes' Ole's saving grace with this team right now, in my honest opinion. Them bringing in Ronaldo just made more problems for him. I just don't know if Ole can put it together.
I go back to my statement about being a blessing and a curse. I agree with majority of what you said. But I think for somebody like Bruno Fernandes, there's a key factor that has not allowed him to be as successful as he should be. And that is maturity. And that is something where Cristiano Ronaldo has huge implications into the future of Bruno Fernandes. And that's that. That's that maturity level, that mentality of always staying hungry and never giving up. Because we've seen many times where United are down and Bruno Fernandes is just basically having a temper tantrum and just throwing fits all around throughout the field and not really contributing to the team as he needs to contribute. Meanwhile, we saw in Atalanta's game, Cristiano Ronaldo knew that we were down 2-0. What does he do? He gathers his guys around and has people like even like Harry Maguire contribute to the game to a goal that really could have been anybody's goal, but it was more of a Harry Maguire goal, really. And was able to reel them in to have a victorious outcome altogether. That's just something that you don't see in Bruno Fernandes currently. In addition to that, I think for Ole, this whole entire roster, there are some changes that need to be done, and he seems just too afraid to do them. That is, like I've been preaching, getting rid of Fred, getting a new CDM that really matters into this game, finding a potential replacement for somebody like Nemanja Matic, because that guy is almost done in his career. He's getting older and older, and he's participating a lot less. Finding a new home for Anthony Martial, because at this point, just the talent sitting there running on the bench and not getting any better and better. He's like the N'Keal Harry of the Patriots. He has great practices, but when it comes to the games, just not any deliverables whatsoever. You gotta move on from Jesse Lingard because you're ruining his potential. You're just ruining his career at this point. It's not fair to a good talent like Jesse to continue being running on the bench for no absolute rhyme or reason. Gotta move on, or find a way to involve in the game somebody like Donny van de Beek. And you gotta let Dean Henderson go to a club where he's gonna be utilized. Because if you continue right with De Gea at all times, all you're doing is just creating a bad chemistry in the locker room between these two goalies. Because Dean Henderson deserves to be a number one goalie for any other team, while De Gea has just been extremely inconsistent as just a big name in the locker room. Additionally to that, you got to move on from either Lindelof or Maguire. I personally think you're better off moving from Maguire. He's just not the guy fit for this club at all. He's not even my real captain to begin with. He's just somebody that doesn't make sense as a captain for this team. Got to find a way to involve Eric Bailly more often. The only reason why this guy's so injury prone is because of his underutilization. That's really what it is. Other than that, if you start funding the capital that you can fund in making these moves out of the bench that you have, where there's so much money to be made of, you can very easily create a super club for Manchester United unknowingly. Very easily. And that is just where Ole has gone wrong, in my opinion. So we'll continue to monitor the situation as the season continues and as this weekend continues. However, I do think that Ole's time at Manchester United has run out, and I think regardless of a win here, there's still two big matchups for him to succeed at. And it's just way too much to ask out of this guy. Beating Manchester City is not going to be easy. And going against Atalanta at home against Atalanta, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you for this club at this point right now. It's a bad situation happening right now. Just real bad. So
I agree.
With that said, any final thoughts?
No, just looking forward to the Champions League this week. And then we got a big stream for next Saturday for the Manchester Derby.
Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely. The reason we have a big stream is, well, not only is it the Manchester Derby, but internally, for those of you who are followers of Couch Guy Sports, which again, we recommend following big time. A lot of great content, a lot of great stuff happening on the website. I lost a bet against one of the Manchester City fans of the Couch Guy Sports network. So I got a Rocket Manchester City jersey.
Would we call him a fan, though?
He calls himself a fan, so we'll let him have it for this one. Even though he knows nothing about the club at all. He knows nothing. He doesn't even know who owns them to begin with. But yeah, so I got a Rocket Manchester City jersey while being a Manchester United fan. That's just bad. Talk about having a bad season altogether. This tops it all off. But with that said, episode 58 concludes here. Thanks again to Shocked Energy for sponsoring this episode. Couch Guy Sports for bringing us on. And until next week, signing off, Chris Jones, Diego Galvis. We'll see you all next week.